Hello everyone and welcome to my channel Teaching with the Times. I'm Sydney. This is my very first video for my new teacher YouTube channel and I've been watching teacher YouTube channels forever. Most recently I've been watching them a lot more and I've been so excited that there are like so many more teacher YouTube channels now than there were when I first started watching. But when I first started watching, one of the first channels I started watching was Too Cool for Middle School. I felt it was only right for me to do the I Teach Too teacher tag that she started a few weeks ago. So that's what I'm going to start out with. So let's get to the questions. Number one, what do you teach and where? Last year I taught 4th grade. This next year I'm going to be teaching 5th grade and I teach in a charter school in Kansas City, Missouri. Number two, how long have you been teaching? So last year was my first year teaching, so this coming year will be my second year. Number three, did you always know you wanted to be a teacher? No. I honestly, this is going to sound so bad, but I honestly thought in high school that teaching was like taking the easy way out. Like, oh, you couldn't be successful at anything else, so you just decided to be a teacher. I know, that's awful. That's my high school, I know everything brain. That sounds so bad now, and then look at me now, I'm a teacher. But I actually wanted to be a journalist. I was editor-in-chief of my high school newspaper, and so I thought for sure that's what I wanted to do. And I went to UMKC, which is here in Kansas City, and I was dead set on becoming a journalist. Then my first semester, I was bored out of my mind. Like, granted, I was only taking like one journalism class, and then the rest just the gen eds, which was boring. But I don't know, I just kind of felt lost. Like I didn't really want to be a journalist anymore with taking the class I was taking. Like I just couldn't really see myself in any of the jobs that we were kind of talking about that journalism majors or communications majors had. And so I just decided to start volunteering for a program through my university that was called that is called Jumpstart Kansas City. It's run by AmeriCorps, so the same program that runs Teach for America. But it's a program where you go into low-income preschools in the neighborhood and you just implement literacy programs to try to help get those preschoolers ready to enter kindergarten. That's kind of how I got into teaching, and I'll tell more about that on that question. But let's move on to the next one. So, what is your typical teacher outfit of the day? Okay, so my school, I'm really lucky. We get like 2 days a week where we get to wear jeans. So we get to wear jeans every Friday and every Wednesday. So Wednesdays we have this thing called care teams, and it's where every teacher in the school gets a group of about 10 kids that are from all different grade levels. So my school is a K through 8 school. So I get kids from kindergarten all the way up to 8th grade, about a group of about 10 kids. And we just talk to them about like life skills, like how to greet someone, how to address a conflict, like just that type of thing. But then this year we have been focusing more on talking to them about colleges and like where are you going to go after high school, and what kind of career path would you want, what would you need to do to get ready for that, and all of that. So that's been pretty cool. And then to enforce that even more, to kind of make it a little bit more fun, they are letting the teachers wear jeans with a college shirt or some type of college wear. So that's been pretty cool. And then on Fridays we get to wear jeans as long as you wear a school shirt or some type of school related shirt. And so I've kind of been recently finding some really cool shirts that I just like. I'm a total teacher nerd, and they're just totally nerd shirts, and my friends that aren't teachers like totally make fun of me, but that's okay. So I'm going to show you what a couple of those shirts look like. So my teams, like my grade level teams, we always try to get a team shirt. So this year I decided to get this best 5th grade teacher ever. So I'm pretty excited about that one. And then last year our shirts were I love my fourth graders, and then it's like customized with your name on here, so it says I love my fourth graders, Miss Owens. So that was cool. And then I got this shirt. I really love this shirt, and it's so soft too. The future of America is in my classroom, and I love this. I love wearing this. One day my kids asked me, they're like, wait, is that us? Yeah, you guys, it's you. And then the most recent one I got was this one. Just do math. Total math nerd here. Love teaching math, and so I had to get that shirt. So yeah, so whenever we can wear jeans on Fridays, I usually try to wear one of those shirts or one of our like school spirit shirts. And then on the other days, I try to look nice because, you know, since we do get to wear jeans or kind of dress down 2 days a week, on the other days, I do try to look nice because I want my students to know that, you know, I value my job, and, you know, I want to look nice, and, you know, even if it's just for them, like, I want to look nice. So usually I wear either like dress pants or in some type of, you know, just flowy blouse, or I'll wear a dress or something like that, or a long skirt. In the winter and fall, I love wearing like kind of like a longer shirt or a dress with leggings and boots and sweaters and all of that. So I feel like that's pretty typical. All right, anyway, moving on. What do you usually bring for lunch? I am pretty good about bringing leftovers for lunch. I've been trying to get better at making dinner every night. Or I end up going out to eat, but I always make sure I have leftovers to bring for lunch, because there are some teachers at school that, like, they don't eat lunch, or they eat like an apple or something, and I'm like, I gotta eat lunch. I'm like starving by 10 o'clock, I gotta eat. So yeah, that's what I usually bring. Okay, let's see, number 6. What is one of your favorite books about teaching? That was hard, but I found a couple that I wanted to share. Let me find them real quick. Okay, so in college, my program, they were more focused on urban education, so it was called the Institute for Urban Ed. And we got to read a lot of like really eye-opening books about how to, you know, be more culturally relevant in your teaching, and how to teach kids that are living in poverty, and you know, kids that are a minority, and things like that. So my all-time favorite is Gloria Ladson-Billings, and my favorite book by her is The Dream Keepers. So love this book. It's called The Dream Keepers: Successful Teachers of African American Children. And so this was really helpful, like college, being able to really figure out, like, as a white woman going into an all African American classroom, you know, how to do that, you know, how to be culturally relevant in your teaching, how to keep high standards, how to teach to students that are completely different than you, that had completely different backgrounds than I have. I really like it because it has successful, like, real stories from real teachers in here. Like Gloria Ladson-Billings did like a case study type of thing, and so she went into schools and found these awesome teachers that were doing awesome things. So they're real life stories, which is a lot more interesting and engaging to read about also. And then also this book I just got is the Google Infused Classroom. So I'm a huge teaching with technology teacher. I love it. I'm obsessed with it. So I had to get this book. It's pretty new. The Google Infused Classroom, a guidebook to making thinking visible and amplifying student voice. So it's by Holly Clark and Tanya Avrith. So I've really only had a chance to kind of flip through this so far, but I'm really liking what I'm seeing. It kind of gives like a background of, you know, why use technology in your teaching, like why is that helpful? Why is that better than not using technology? So really love this. It gives some great suggestions of how to integrate some of these websites into things that you're already doing, which is great. Also a book that I'm looking forward to reading. My school is actually doing like a whole school or whole staff book club on this, or book talk, whatever you want to call it, on Push Out The Criminalization of Black Girls in Schools by Monique W. Morris. I'm really looking forward to reading that. We're going to be having like different discussion groups and things like that. Everyone's going to get a chance to lead a discussion over some of the chapters. So just kind of thinking about things that maybe we don't realize that we're doing that is contributing to the criminalization of Black girls. And so I'm really looking forward to reading that and figuring out some ways to maybe adjust my teaching so that I can connect with my girls a little bit better. All right, let's see. Number 7, what is one of your favorite teacher movies? Okay, so this is gonna sound so bad, but I like really haven't watched any teacher movies. Like, I know. I've been watching these I Teach 2 teacher tags and been hearing about some great ones that I need to watch. And I know that there are some like classic ones that like, why have we not watched those? And I don't have a reason. I don't know why. I just never got around to it. But I just checked out because of so many people talking about it on YouTube. The Ron Clark story. So I watched that and I absolutely loved it. Like, it was an amazing movie. Now I want to go out and buy his books and read all of those too. So thank you, YouTubers, for those suggestions, and I'll have to check out the other ones that people have been suggesting too. Number 8, who was your favorite teacher? 3 really stand out to me. My 5th grade teacher, Mr. Walker. My parents had just gotten divorced the previous year, and I had to move schools because we had to move. And so I was starting out at a brand new school. I was very upset about it because I was leaving all of my friends that I had made in kindergarten through 4th grade and starting at a brand new school where I didn't know anybody. So this 5th grade teacher kind of knew what was going on, like always like just checked in on how I was doing and things like that, and I just felt good to know that I had somebody in my corner when I didn't know anybody. And also he's just an amazing teacher. Like he would just do really engaging things with us, different activities, just off the wall things that would just make every day more exciting. Like you never knew what Mr. Walker was going to be wearing, what he was going to be doing, what different crazy, like every day there was some crazy thing that he would do. Like the first time I ever met him, this is what he was wearing. This was his typical teacher outfit of the day. He was wearing a Superman shirt and these Converse shoes that were like American flag print on them. Like just like a weird quirky outfit, and like that's just how he was. He was weird and quirky. But totally loved him. He just made everything more fun. Like what more engaging way could you teach grammar than to stand on top of your desk and speak like a chicken saying grammar? Like that's literally what he would do, and that's what he would have us do. And you know, it's things like that that you know that kids are going to remember, and just to try to, you know, not take everything so seriously. And he's awesome. And I still talk to him today. Actually, all these teachers I'm mentioning, I still have contact with them. I still call them and ask them for advice or ask them for help. Like, what would you do in this situation? Because they were awesome teachers, and I know I don't know everything. So hearing advice from them is really helpful. Another one of my favorite teachers was Miss Wishon, which now her name is Mrs. Nonamaker. But she was my 6th grade teacher, and it was her very first year of teaching when I had her. And so that was really cool, and she was just so young and fun and like just had so much energy, and again like just did engaging activities that just made things more fun. Like I remember she had a journal in her class called the Shake It Off journal, because that was when the Mariah Carey song Shake It Off just came out, and she was obsessed with Mariah Carey. And we could write anything in the journal that that was bothering us, or something that we just needed to like get off of our chest, or anything that we just wanted to share with her. We could put it in the Shake It Off journal, and then we just were shaking off all of our troubles. And also Miss Nonamaker, her name now, she I still visit her classroom and I actually did this past year when I was on spring break. We had different spring breaks. So I went and visited her in her classroom just to see what she was doing, what types of activities she was doing with her kids. And I actually learned a new website that she was doing with her class. And then I went back the next week and did it with my class and they loved it. So, you know, there's always stuff that you can learn, and, you know, it doesn't hurt going back to some of the teachers that you loved, and maybe they're still teaching and maybe they're still doing really cool things. And I mean, what teacher would not want one of their students who's now a teacher to come back and visit them? Like, that's the coolest thing ever. My favorite high school teacher was Mrs. Ullery. She is the newspaper teacher, because, you know, I was a newspaper editor. I did newspaper all 4 years, and there's just something about her. Like, she just knew how to connect with the kids. And I mean, people that weren't even in her class would end up hanging out in her classroom. Like, she was just, it was like the hangout spot, or just if you needed somewhere to eat lunch, or if you needed somewhere to just do your homework, or if you had like a study hall period or something, you would go hang out in the lab. And she just knew everybody, and she just had a way of helping students feel like they could just open up to her, and she just really showed that she cared. And I mean, being a teacher now and looking back on some of the things that she did, you know, you realize, like, wow, she did not have to do that. Like, she did not have to let kids eat lunch in her room when that was her only break. She did not have to let all these kids that were not in her class just hang out in her class. Like, she didn't have to really invest herself into our lives. And so, I mean, it just makes it like even more inspiring, that looking back now on the things that she did for kids, not even just me, but for every student that she came into contact with. Number 9, who are some of your favorite teacher YouTubers, Instagrammers, Snapchatters, etc.? So I really mostly just watch YouTube channels. I haven't really gotten into the whole Instagram thing yet. I'm working on it. But some of my favorites are, of course, you know, Too Cool for Middle School, The Lettered Classroom. Those were like the first ones I started watching. Newer ones that I really like are Real Rap with the Reynolds. Love me some CJ Reynolds. I always try to tune in for the live chats he does on Tuesdays and Thursdays now. And he's just great. Like, I just think he's so cool. I really like Teach Like a Girl. I just started watching her channel. She is hilarious. Love her. Jennuine Teaching. She's not that new, but I've been watching her for a while too, and she's always has some great ideas. Love and Literacy is one of my best friends, Paige Fickbaum. She does Love and Literacy. We did our student teaching together, so she actually is someone who's inspired me to make a YouTube channel, because she started one. And then Darin Nakakihara, I recently started following him after he was featured on The Real Rap with the Reynolds. I started following him, and we get along great because we're both like techie people. Love using technology. Alicia Vilas, I just started watching her videos, and I really like her. She's really cool. She's got a great personality too, and I've been like obsessed with her Target hauls lately, because I'm like, oh my god, girl, now I gotta go to Target. And then Senor S's Spanish Spot, he just started a channel too, and he's a Spanish teacher, which is cool. So, but I'm so excited to start watching more teacher YouTubers, and especially being on like all of those, watching those live chats and seeing different teacher YouTubers that are watching it at the same time, and doing like the live, like in the comments or the chat section. Like, I've been finding out a lot of new people, so I'm really excited to kind of explore and branch out and find lots of awesome teachers that are in the teacher YouTube community. Okay, number 10, what is one of your best classroom management tips? So obviously building a relationship with kids. I mean, I feel like that's pretty, everybody has said that, because everybody knows that that is the ticket. But to kind of expand off of that, something else that I do that I know some people aren't really comfortable with, But whenever I'm having an issue with my class, like maybe they're just, you know, we had like a really off day, or you know, there's something that a lot of them are doing that's bothering me, like whether it's with our transitions or whether it's name calling, or, you know, any of the many things that kind of annoy us as teachers, we have a morning meeting every morning, right when they get in there, and I usually just kind of go over announcements and different things, but if there's something going on like that, I try to bring it up in the morning meeting and just like be real with them and just try to involve them in solutions for how are we going to address this in our classroom. I usually just open it up to them and be like, you know what guys, I left school yesterday and I was just really feeling really frustrated with, you know, some different things that have been happening in the class, and I'll even open up to like, what do you think some of those things are, and they'll name off some stuff, and usually they can figure it out whatever the issue is. And then I just ask them, like, you know, this is our community and it's our job to come up with solutions to whatever problems come up in our community. So how do you think that we can fix that? Or, you know, what do you think we can do to to try to avoid this issue from continuing to happen? And so I've just found that whenever I just have like a real conversation with them and talk to them like they're adults, you know, and it just really kind of shows them that I respect them, and I respect that, you know, they are part of this community, and it's not just I'm the boss, you know, they're part of it, and that I can't make them do anything or force them to do anything, but that we can all agree that we all want to be productive learners here, and, you know, what kind of community do we need to have to do that. So just trying to involve them in, you know, whatever solutions we have to come up with. And sometimes I honestly like don't know what to do. Like I don't know what to do about this issue, and I am truly asking them, you know, what do you guys think we should do? You know, how can we keep this from happening? What consequences do you think we need to start having for this type of behavior that's happening in our class that we all agree we don't want to keep happening? And so, I mean, it was my first year of teaching last year, guys, so sometimes I truly just did not know what to do, and so I would just ask them, and then I would try to you know, take some of their ideas into consideration, and then I would just follow up with them and say, hey, you know, I thought about what you guys said about whatever this issue was, and that's why we're going to start doing this now. And, you know, so that way this kind of like, there's your buy-in, and they kind of take ownership of whatever changes are happening, because they helped come up with those. So, and maybe I can make another video about that, because I'm not sure, that might be a little bit confusing. I don't know, I feel like I kind of rambled on about that a little bit, but oh well. Number 11, last question. What is one reason you decided to become a teacher? Like I said earlier, wanted to be a journalist, went to college, decided to change my major after I joined the Jumpstart Kansas City, working in inner city preschools. So I went to school in a suburb of Kansas City, about 15 miles from it, but I never really left that suburb very much. When I went to school there, I was pretty sheltered. So when I went into these schools and how underfunded they were, and the lack of resources, and just the bad conditions that the buildings were in, and I was just shocked. Like, I had no idea that other schools were like that. Like, I had no idea. Like, I honestly thought, being 18 years old, terrible, I honestly thought all schools were like the schools I went to, and I didn't understand why, you know, some schools were underperforming, or, you know, were not as successful as mine. Like, I just never even thought about it, and so going into these schools, I was like, what? Like, how is this being allowed to happen? Like, this isn't fair, this isn't right. Like, you know what? I was just in complete shock, and I was furious for a while that I had been like so sheltered from all of this, being 15 miles from it, in that, you know, my parents, my community, we just didn't talk about that, and we never, you know, just was never part of any conversation, and that, you know, infuriated me even more. So I wanted to go into education, and I wanted to go into urban education, not just any education. I was not going to go teach at the district that I went to or any district that was like the district that I went to. I joined UMKC's Institute of Urban Education, learned all about my white privilege, learned all about how to be culturally relevant in my teaching, and that's where my heart is. That is where my passion is in this urban ed. And so I absolutely love the school that I'm at. I love the students I teach and their families, and the staff is amazing and the staff is diverse. And yeah, that's why I became a teacher, because I did not realize how unjust our education system is, and so that inspired me to want to do anything that I could to try to help that. So that is all of the questions. Hope you enjoyed my very first video, my I Teach Too teacher tag, and I hope that you will, if you liked it, like it, and if you want to see more videos from me, then you should hit the subscribe button so that you can make sure you don't miss any, because I am going to be uploading more videos. So if you had any questions about anything that I answered, or if you just want to comment something, please put your thoughts down in the comments and I will definitely get back to you. So thank you so much for watching.